Welcome back to our subject, which is MSTO2, Living in the IT Era. And still, this is your instructor, Mr. Daniel Algarbo. And today, we will have our Module 7 of the course. Module 7 is about data security, data privacy, and protection. Okay, so the ICT has changed the way people communicate and deal with other people. As a result, it affects businesses and organizations as ICT has become an essential part of our daily routines. Examples are through work, business, or entertainment. And according to YOLO year 2018, digital data has become part of our personalities and identities. Through the internet and the social media, human relations are increasingly carried out on a global level, and the local is shaped by events occurring at a far distance, stated by Colste 2008. Okay, so when we talk about our time today, so we are dealing with what we call as the information age or the data age or the data era. Okay, so since information is widespread, our data is also possibly being viewed by the whole world. Okay, so we should be careful on the information that we will provide. It doesn't mean that we should hide or we should lie about our information, but we should just be sure that uh, our information are secured online and that no crimes are possible to be committed using our information or our personal information. Okay? Then, these are some possible cases of data security breaches. So we have what we call as the computer viruses. So there are some misconceptions about malware and virus. Okay, just remember, all viruses are malware, but not all malware is a virus. Okay, the reason for this is because malware is a form of software that is created to look like it is functional and useful, but its main function is to infect the computer system. Okay? So the main function of a malware is to infect the computer system or to attack the information within the computer system or the system unit. Okay? But when we talk about virus, it can simply either attack the computer system or just a single file from the computer. Okay? That's the reason why all viruses are malware, but not all malware is a virus. Okay? Because when we talk about malware, it directly attacks the computer system, but a virus can simply attack a document or a file. Okay? And viruses can multiply on its own and it can reproduce. Then we have other security breaching activity here, which is what we call as hacking. So there are various types of hackers. These include black hat hackers, white hat hackers, and gray hat hackers. Okay, so from the name itself, when we say black hat hackers, those are hackers who do hacking activities for crime. Okay, so they steal information, they destroy organizational systems, or they access websites from various organizations to either steal from it or destroy them. Okay, then we have what we call as the white hat hackers. These are good hackers or ethical hackers because their main role is to test the security system of a certain website or a certain application or a certain system. Okay, so once they tested the system or the website or the program, they point out the weakness of those websites. Okay, they point out the weakness of those websites so that the creator will be able to improve it. Okay, then we have what we call as the gray hat hackers. So gray hat hackers are not totally good, but they are still doing hacking for various reasons such as activism. Okay, they may hack a certain government system to fight against the programs of a certain government agency, or they may even steal information and sell it to other people. Okay, so they are not totally bad, but still some of their activities are somewhat illegal. Okay, not all, but some. Okay, then we have cyber criminals. So there are various cyber criminals. We have what we call as the lone wolf. Then we have state-sponsored agents and corporate actors. Lone wolf are individuals or solo hackers. Okay, so they are private individuals who uh, do cyber crimes on their own. Okay, they may somehow have goals to test their skills or to test their computing skills or their hacking capabilities. Okay, then we have what we call as state-sponsored agents. So state-sponsored agents are uh, paid by organizations, maybe sometimes by the government, to hack other website or to uh, get information or steal information from other businesses or other government agencies so that they may either copy or create a better program or a better system from the information that they have hacked. Okay. Then the next one, we have corporate actors. So corporate actors are uh, the ones who do corporate espionage or corporate spying or cyber spying. So through corporate espionage, they somehow access other businesses' websites, okay, and steal information or plans from those businesses so that they may copy those plans or they may provide a better plan out of those information. Okay, and to avoid these various crimes, we can simply install an antivirus. So there are various kinds of antivirus. We have McAfee, we have Avira. Okay, so it depends on what do you prefer, but be sure that your computer system has its antivirus. It may cost a bit much, medyo mahal lang ng bahagya, but the protection is worth it. Okay, you are ensured or you can uh, be at ease that the information, the files, the documents that are within your computer are safe and they will not be easily accessed by cyber criminals. Okay? Then we have here the definitions and views on data. So according to this, data is the new oil. Data is not just a concern of scientists nowadays. More than ever, data has become central and essential for business and industries focus on technology, infrastructure, finance, manufacturing, insurance, and energy. So these entities treat data as a form of capital that is based on Sadowski 2019. Okay, so since we are living in the information age, so data is also considered to be money. Data is money or information is money. So uh, most businesses or all businesses and infrastructure uses data so that they will be able to provide either a certain service or product as based on the data that they have acquired from us as the consumer. Okay, so Ginagamit nila yung mga data natin, yung mga preferences natin, personal information natin, para malaman nila kung ano yung mga possible products na pwede nilang i-develop na magiging useful para sa atin bilang users or consumers. And also, they may also sell those data. Pwede din. There are some businesses who sell information to other businesses. Okay? So, di malabong nangyayari yon. So, why data protection is needed? Along with the increase in the volume of collected data is the increased risk of compromising the data in various ways. So, data compromise on the part of organizations could lead to financial costs for damage repair, fines, decline in share price, and overall mistrust from the customers. That is based on Accenture 2009. So, importante naman talaga, it is very important to protect our data because uh, we may uh, be a victim of identity theft if we did not protect our personal information online. And as per the company's sake or the business sake, they may cost money or it may cause some damage to their system if the data of their business or their company was stolen or breached by other people. Okay, so napaka-importante ng data kasi pwedeng manakawan ka na identity, manakaw yung ibang information or important information about you, or they may use that data to uh, blackmail you or other people that are related to you. Okay, so let us all be careful with the information that we are sharing. Then, as per the Philippines, we have what we call as the Data Privacy Act. So, meron naman tayong batas for our data privacy, especially if we will be having or we should uh, provide our personal information online. So, under the Data Privacy Act of 2012 or the Republic Act number 10173, it is a law that seeks to protect all forms of information, either private, personal, or sensitive information. So, hindi lang naman online information yung pinoprotektahan nito. So, all informations that are uh, referring to all Filipino citizens are protected by the Data Privacy Act of 2012. Okay, so it may be written or published online. So lahat yon ay protektado ng Data Privacy Act of 2012. So what are the main role of that act? It is provided to protect the privacy of individuals, at the same time ensuring the free flow of information to promote innovation and growth. Okay? So it protects our information but also ensures that our information or our personal information or relevant information are being used properly so that there will be a continuous flow of data online or even in the physical world. Okay, it also regulates the collection, recording, organization, storage, updating, or modification, retrieval, consultation, use, consolidation, blocking, erasure, or destruction of personal data. Okay, so all activities with regards to our data, our personal information, and uh, all the necessary details about us are being regulated by that act. Then, lastly, it ensures that the Philippines complies with international standards set for data protection through National Privacy Commission. So, through that Data Privacy Act of 2012, the National Privacy Commission was developed or organized so that it can be the body that ensures that our country is in line with the international law about data privacy. Okay? So what are some other important informations about this Data Privacy Act? We have what we call as the data subjects and personal information. So data subjects are us. We are the users. Okay? So we are the ones who provide the information. So we are the data subjects. The information that we provide are our personal information. Okay? So it can be a personal or a private information, a personal information, or a sensitive information. So when we say sensitive information, it can be our race, our age, our birthday, or our gender, and any other sensitive information that may be used to uh, steal our identity. Okay? Then we have what we call as the National Privacy Commission. So this is the organization or the commission that was developed under the Data Privacy Act. So they are the ones who regulate our information and how our information be used and collected. Okay? Then personal information controller. So personal information controller are the ones who control in a certain organization. They are the ones who control how the information be used. Okay? Then personal information processor. These are the individuals in a certain organization who process. Okay? They are the ones who analyze our information. They process it. Then data protection officer or the DPO, they are the ones who protect our information. So they are the ones who ensure that uh, the PIC and the PIP, or the Personal Information Controller and the Personal Information Processor, are doing their work in line with the Data Privacy Act of 2012. Okay? Then, these are the major functions of the NPC. Okay? So, they act as the advisory or the advisor. So, the NPC serves as advisory body on matters related to personal data protection. So, they advise us organizations on what to do with the information. They provide public education. So the NPC shall launch initiatives to educate the public about data privacy, data protection, and fair information rights and responsibilities. So they are the ones who should provide seminars, uh, infographics, educational videos, so that the general public will know or will be informed on how to protect their identity online or their information online. So they are rulemaking and enforcement. So they provide the rules and they enforce it as well. They also monitors the compliance and monitoring of the information. So the body has compliance and monitoring functions to ensure personal information controllers comply with the law. It is also tasked to manage the registration of personal data processing systems. Okay? So before a certain organization collect data, so they may use some or they may refer to the rules and regulations that are provided by the NPC para ma-check nila kung inline pa ba yon or they are still complying with the rules provided by the NPC. They are also the ones who conduct or who deals on complaints and investigations about uh, breach of data. Okay? So, para ma-ensure nila kung talagang nanakaw or na-access without consent yung data, so they are the ones who conduct investigations. They are the ones who receive complaints from us as the users. Okay? These are some famous examples of breaches and live cases about data security breach. So here in our country, we have what we call as the COMELEC. Okay, so the 2016 hacking of the Commission of Elections or the COMELEC website is said to be the biggest private data leaks in the Philippine history as per Valenzuela 2020. So this left 55 millions of registered Filipino voters at risk, surpassing the 2015 U.S. Office of Personnel Management hack that leaked personal data of 20 million Americans, according to Malik 2016. Year 2016, even estimates the 151 number at 70 million people. So this hacking is said to be the biggest breach involving government held data, according to Jacob 2018. So that Comelec issue is very famous because it surpasses even the security breach that happened in the US during the year 2015. So sobrang laki ng information or sobrang daming information of Filipino voters yung na access by the hackers. And we don't know what did or how do they use those information. Okay? So they may use it in for a certain illegal purposes or we don't know. Okay? Then the next one, the Facebook Cambridge Analytical Data Scandal. So the Facebook Cambridge Analytical Data Scandal involved the harvesting of the personal data of up to 87 million of Facebook profiles without their consent, according to Cradle 2020. So the harvested data came from a personality quiz titled This Your or This Is Your Digital Life, which around 270,000 people were paid to take. The quiz takers were unaware that not their data were collected, but also their friends' profiles as well, according to Ma and Gilbert 2019. So, isa to sa pinakasikat since it involves Facebook. So, there are a lot of quizzes that are rotating in Facebook. So, we should be careful because this is started with a single quiz or personality quiz. So, it is better not to simply follow trends kasi there are some trends that may harm us, just like what happened here. Okay? Then, to further establish our discussion, so let us watch a video about this one.
Do you know what your data privacy rights are? Stay tuned in this video to know your data privacy rights based on RA 10173 or the Data Privacy Act of 2012. Let us first define the terms which we are going to hear frequently. First is the data subject. It refers to an individual whose personal information is processed. This means if an organization collected and processed your data, you become a data subject. Next is personal information. It refers to any information from which the identity of an individual can be reasonably and directly identified by the entity holding that information. Lastly is the personal information controller. This term refers to a person or organization who controls the collection, holding, processing, or use of personal information. Now, we are ready to talk about our data privacy rights. The first one, which is the most basic right, is the right to be informed. This means your personal information should never be collected, processed, and stored without your explicit consent, unless otherwise required by a law. This right also requires the personal information controller to notify you in a timely manner if your data has been compromised. Next is the right to access. This means you have the right to gain reasonable access and the right to obtain a copy of personal information collected and stored in an organization's database. You may also ask for a written description of the kind of information they have about you, as well as their purposes of holding them. This must be complied with in an easy-to-access format accompanied by a description in plain language. Next is the right to object. This means you have the choice to refuse to consent. The personal information controller should no longer process the personal data unless the processing is pursuant to a subpoena, for contract, for employer-employee relationship, or a result of a legal obligation. If there is any change to the policy previously given, you should be notified and given an opportunity to withhold consent. Next is the right to erasure or blocking. This means you have the right to suspend, withdraw, or order the blocking, removal, or destruction of your personal data. You can exercise this right when there is a proof that the personal information is incomplete, outdated, false, unlawfully obtained, and used for unauthorized purposes. Next is the right to damages. If you feel your data privacy rights have been violated, you have a right to file a complaint with the National Privacy Commission. You may claim compensation from suffered damages. Next is the right to rectify. This means you have the right to dispute any inaccuracy in the personal information processed and to have the personal information controller correct it immediately. The personal information controller must ensure that the new and retracted information will be accessible, and that third parties who receive the erroneous data will be informed upon your request. Next is the right to data portability. This means you have the right to obtain and electronically move, copy, or transfer personal information for further use. It allows you to manage your personal information in your private device and to transmit your data from one personal information controller to another. Under the Data Privacy Act of 2012, the rights can also be invoked by the data subject's lawful heirs and assignees in the event of his or her incapacity, and even after his or her death. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and leave your comments, suggestions, and questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that is a video about our rights with regards to the Data Privacy Act. And so I hope that you were able to gain more information about it. And if you have more questions about our discussion, our topic, please simply write your questions or your suggestions or your comments below in our comment box. And thank you for attending our class. For your activity,
Do you know what your data privacy rights are? Stay tuned in this video.
for your activity. So this will be your weekly task. So you have to search for some old or latest news about any famous cases of cybercrime in the Philippines or around the world. So simply write a review about the case, include the important information of the case and your personal opinion on how can or might this case be resolved or avoided. So use the file name surname underscore course underscore mid act 3 and submit the picture or the file of your work in the ILU portal on or before 5:30 p.m. of March 25, 2022. So take note, late submissions with no valid reasons will not be entertained and failure to use the file name will deduct 5 points to your score. So for the scoring rubric, for clarity of content, you will gain 20 points. That's the total. For relevance, the total is 20 points, and timeliness, it's 10 points. So a total of 50 points for these weekly tasks. So I hope you learned a lot from our lesson. Thank you for attending our class. Always keep safe and stay healthy.